Vice President Kamala Harris administered the ceremonial swearing-in of Representative Robert Garcia as the new ranking Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, a moment that carried strong political and symbolic weight. Harris' participation evoked memories of 2014 when she, as California's Attorney General, swore Garcia into office as mayor of Long Beach. Now, nearly a decade later, she repeated the act in Washington, D.C., placing him in a central role on a committee that has become one of the most contentious battlegrounds in Congress. Garcia assumed this position following the passing of Representative Jerry Connolly, and his elevation comes at a time when the Oversight Committee, under Republican control, is investigating President Joe Biden's fitness to serve and probing whether his aides concealed evidence of cognitive decline. The juxtaposition of Harris swearing him in while Republicans threatened to subpoena her for testimony underscores the deeply political stakes surrounding this committee. Garcia expressed deep gratitude to Harris after the ceremony. He praised her as a leader who has consistently shown strength and vision and described himself as honored to take on this responsibility. He pledged to hold Donald Trump and his administration accountable for corruption and abuse of power and to focus on delivering meaningful results for Americans. His remarks framed his mission not merely as defending the Democratic Party but as ensuring oversight itself serves the public interest. By standing beside Harris at his swearing-in, Garcia also projected unity within the Democratic ranks at a moment when Republicans are sharpening their attacks. Meanwhile, Republican Chairman James Comer has drawn intense attention with his suggestion that Harris should testify before the committee. He argued that it would be helpful to hear directly from her about Biden's final months in office, insisting that questions about who was making decisions in the White House still linger. Comer stated that if he were Harris and cared about his political future, he would want to set the record straight. He added that whether Harris would be invited voluntarily or subpoenaed remains undecided but hinted that the chances of a subpoena are high. This strategy reflects Republicans' broader effort to cast doubt on Biden's capacity and by extension challenge the credibility of those closest to him, with Harris naturally being at the center of that circle. Calls for Harris' testimony have not been limited to the House. Republican senators have also expressed interest in hearing from her, with some suggesting a closed-door session to evaluate what she knows and what she might be willing to disclose. Such pressure illustrates how the GOP views her testimony as potentially crucial for legitimizing their investigation, but it also reveals a political calculation. Bringing Harris before the committee would not only yield information but also create a powerful public spectacle, giving Republicans a platform to highlight their narrative of Democratic mismanagement. For Harris, the dilemma is significant. Appearing before the committee could allow her to clarify events, defend Biden's legacy, and assert her own credibility, but it also risks handing Republicans a stage for aggressive questioning and political theater. Refusing could make her appear evasive, potentially damaging her political future. Comer's public remarks that this issue could haunt her career underscore how Republicans intend to frame the matter whether she cooperates or not. In this way, Harris has become a pivotal figure in the probe despite not holding the presidency herself. The dynamics surrounding the Oversight Committee illustrate the broader state of American politics. Investigations have become instruments of partisan struggle, where each party sees the committee not simply as a watchdog but as a tool to shape public perception. Garcia's ascent symbolizes Democrats' determination to resist what they describe as politically motivated probes, while Harris' presence reinforces continuity of leadership. At the same time, Comer's insistence on Harris' potential testimony signals Republicans' willingness to escalate the confrontation and draw the vice president herself into the spotlight. This struggle is not only about oversight but about legitimacy and trust in government. Republicans want to convince the public that Biden's presidency ended with questions of mental decline concealed by aides, while Democrats counter that such investigations are distractions from pressing national issues and thinly veiled attacks designed to weaken their party. Harris swearing in Garcia represents more than a ceremonial duty. It represents the Democratic attempt to display confidence, continuity, and unity amid scrutiny. The coming weeks will reveal whether Harris is formally called to testify and how Garcia uses his new role to shape Democratic responses. If a subpoena is issued, the political consequences will extend far beyond the committee, potentially setting a precedent for how high-ranking officials can be drawn into oversight battles. For Harris, every decision, from participating in Garcia's swearing-in to how she handles potential testimony, will be closely scrutinized, not only as a matter of governance but as a determinant of her future political trajectory. Thus, What began as a symbolic moment in Washington may evolve into a defining episode in the ongoing contest between oversight and executive authority. Harris' oath to Garcia cemented their shared history and signaled Democratic resilience, but it also reminded observers that the vice president herself now stands at the center of a struggle where symbolism, power, and political survival intersect.